All right, strap in, everybody. We're going deep on a courtroom drama that's got everybody talking.
Yeah, the Daniel Penny trial.
A Daniel Penny trial. Picture this, okay?
Okay.
A packed New York City courtroom. The tension. You could cut it with a knife.
Thicker than a Times Square pretzel.
Jury's about to make a decision that could send a man to prison for a very long time.
And it's gotten attention nationwide.
Headlines, debates, the whole 9 yards. This case, man, it's really grabbed people.
And it's not hard to see why. It touches on those really sensitive issues we face. I'm talking mental health, homelessness, what it means to use force, and where's that line? Where do you step in, and when does it become a crime?
Exactly. It's a tightrope walk for sure. Now, just as a refresher, we're talking about Daniel Penny.
Former Marine.
Right, former Marine, on trial for the death of Jordan Nealy, a homeless man. And witnesses, they say Nealy was acting erratically on the subway, and Penny stepped in, restrained him, used a chokehold, and, well, tragically, it was fatal.
And now the jury has to figure out, did Penny's actions, do they amount to manslaughter?
That's the million-dollar question. And it hasn't been easy getting to that answer. This jury has been deliberating for days now. And you can feel it. They're split.
Deeply divided.
Yeah, on whether Penny was really justified in using that kind of force. And they keep coming back to this idea of reasonable belief. It sounds straightforward, right?
Oh, but it is not. That legal term, way more loaded than you think.
You know what? We actually got a note. The jury sent it to the judge. And let me tell you, it's pretty revealing. It says, "We, the jury, request further instructions from the judge. At this time, we are not able to come to a unanimous decision as to count 1, manslaughter in the 2nd degree."
They're stuck.
They are stuck.
Yeah. Big time. This is where you often see what's called an Allen charge. It's like, imagine your teacher, right, trying to get that group project back on track, make sure everyone's, working together.
I've had those teachers.
We all have. So the judge will encourage the jury, keep talking, try to get to a verdict. But it's tricky. You can't pressure people into a decision they're not ready for.
Definitely a balancing act. And it seems like the judge was really careful here. Even after giving that Allen charge, jury keeps coming back with questions, especially about what reasonable belief actually means when you're talking about using physical force.
And those repeated questions, they tell you something. This case is messy, it's complicated. You've got these jurors, they're trying to make sense of legal definitions, put together what all the witnesses said, analyze the video evidence, and they're trying to understand what was going through Penny's mind and Nealy's mind in those crazy moments on the subway.
A lot to process.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after hours of deliberating, tons of notes flying back and forth between the jury and the judge, he makes a move that sent shockwaves through the courtroom.
He dismissed the 2nd-degree manslaughter charge against Penny.
Just like that. Gone.
Bold move. Shows you that the jury just couldn't get on the same page about that charge.
So where does that leave us? Penny's still facing a lesser charge.
Criminally negligent homicide.
But hold on, what does that even mean for him in practical terms?
Well, think about it. That original manslaughter charge, if he was convicted, that was looking at a possible 15 years in prison.
15 years.
That's off the table now. The max sentence for this new charge. 4 years.
Huge difference.
Huge. Makes you wonder what's going on in that jury room. Imagine, right? You're wrestling with this life or death decision, and then the judge is like, all right, go enjoy your weekend. Try not to think about it too much.
That's essentially what happened. Judge dismissed the jury for the weekend after dropping the manslaughter charge.
That's gotta be tough. To just switch gears like that shows you the weight of this case, not just for Penny, but for everyone involved.
The emotional toll, it's huge. So as they head off for their weekend, the big question is, could this be heading towards a mistrial?
Definitely possible. If they couldn't agree on manslaughter, who's to say they'll be any less divided on this criminally negligent homicide charge?
Yeah, trying to enjoy the weekend with that hanging over their heads. But you know what else has been weighing in on this whole thing?
Oh, absolutely. The media.
The media. Everywhere. And it feels like, I don't know, everyone's got an opinion on Daniel Penny, whether they love him or hate him.
Total media frenzy. And it's hard to ignore the role they play, shaping how we see this, how the public sees this whole thing.
Big time.
You've got passionate arguments on both sides, often, lining up with what people already believe about crime, about social justice, even race. It's become this, lightning rod for some seriously charged issues.
Totally. I mean, depending on what you read or watch, you could walk away thinking Jordan Nealy was a completely different person.
Right.
Some focus on his mental health struggles, his history with homelessness, and you see him as a victim of circumstance.
It makes you think, right?
Yeah.
But then others, they put the emphasis on how he was acting on the train. Like Penny had no other choice but to step in.
It's wild. Same event, completely different spins.
It's why it's so important, to get your news from lots of different places, not just one source.
Variety, yeah.
And really think critically, what are the different angles? What are the biases?
Yeah. It's like everyone's trying to take this really complex situation and shove it into a box that already fits their worldview.
Exactly.
And that's where, media literacy comes in. Being able to sort the facts from the opinions, spot those biases.
Not always easy though, right?
Oh, not at all.
This case just throws it in your face. Every story's got layers.
How many layers?
No single narrative gets the whole picture. It's about acknowledging the gray areas. Things aren't always black and white. Resist that urge to oversimplify.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
But there's another big conversation this has started, and that's about bystanders. We've all seen the video. You got two other guys helping Penny restrain Nealy.
Yeah.
Legally, ethically, where do you even begin with that?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Legally, those bystanders, they're going to be under a microscope. Did their actions play a part in Nealy's death?
Right.
And ethically? Oh boy, talk about opening a can of worms. Like, what's our duty in those moments? When do we step in? Is there this, groupthink that takes over? Do we have to, fully assess the situation before jumping in? So many questions.
It's a reminder, even if we're not directly involved, the choices we make, step in, stay back, or even just filming it.
Huge consequences.
Huge.
It's like this microcosm of all the big challenges we're facing, right? Mental health, homelessness, keeping the public safe. This case makes us face some uncomfortable truths about what role we play, what responsibility we have in dealing with all of this.
Absolutely. And it's not over yet. This trial, it's going to spark debate, make people do some soul searching, no matter how it ends. But for now, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this case? What should we be doing as a society to tackle these complex issues?
Let's keep the conversation going. Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're digging these deep dives, hit that subscribe button. We got more stories coming your way.
It's crazy to think no matter what the verdict is, it's going to have ripple effects way beyond the court.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of message does it send for other people in the future?
Yeah.
Someone needs to step in. Someone's having a mental health crisis.
Right. That's such a key point. This could totally change how people react.
Right.
Down the road. In similar situations, are people going to think twice before helping? Afraid of getting in legal trouble?
Exactly.
Or could it, lead to a better understanding? These situations are complex, especially when you're dealing with someone who's so vulnerable.
It's like a cautionary tale, right?
Yeah.
Here's how quickly things can go bad. You're trying to help. Next thing you know, you've used excessive force, especially when mental health is a factor. Where's the line?
Exactly. And it makes you think about our systems,
Yeah.
Do they actually work? Can they handle these things? Mental health, homelessness. Are we giving enough support? The resources, the people who need it most. Are we even training people the right way? Law enforcement, everyday people, how do you de-escalate these situations? How do you stop things from getting out of control?
Big questions. And this trial, it's put a spotlight on all of this, pushed these issues to the front, and it's a conversation we need to keep having, even after the verdict.
I agree. It's so easy to get caught up in the legal stuff, the drama of it all. But at the end of the day, this is about people. Real people whose lives are changed forever. Jordan Nealy's family, they're dealing with a horrible loss. And Daniel Penny, he's facing the consequences of his actions.
And it's a reminder, right? Justice, it's complicated.
It's not always so clear-cut.
A verdict might close the legal chapter.
Yeah.
But the pain, the complexity, it doesn't just disappear. I think true justice means we look beyond the courtroom. We work towards real change, better awareness, and, a real commitment to compassion, understanding.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And while we wait for that jury, let's use this time to really think about all of this. Have those conversations, the honest ones, and recommit ourselves to building a better society, a place where everyone feels supported, valued, no matter their circumstances.
This deep dive, wow, what a journey. We've gone through legal terms, explored the human side of it all, wrestled with some really tough questions about our society.
And we did it together. You were right there with us, our listeners, part of the conversation. And we appreciate that. Being here with us, willing to engage with these topics, consider every angle. It means a lot.
So keep thinking about this case, keep sharing your thoughts, and keep diving deep with us as we explore the stories that matter. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep asking those questions, keep trying to understand, keep diving deep.